brought up a claim that Hunter Biden has been paid millions of dollars by somebody in Russia, which Joe Biden said wasn't true. So as they were going back and forth about Hunter Biden, there was a conversation about Beau Biden, who is Joe Biden's other son, who died from cancer. And there was a slightly grating moment in the debate where, as Joe Biden was talking about his dead son, the president interrupted and talked about Hunter Biden. So it's an extremely good question. And of course, this presidential campaign, Joe Biden hasn't been quite as public as you would be normally in an election campaign because of coronavirus. He's been running more of a virtual campaign. The president has been ever present with near daily press conferences. So
his losses and tax avoidance. As expected, the two men clashed over the subject of the amount of tax Mr. Trump has paid.
2017.
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars,
So
yes.
not 750.
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see it. But let me just tell you, Chris, let me a massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now, the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe, I've done more in.
Well, I think despite the fact that the president was tag teamed by the moderator, Chris Wallace, and Joe Biden, it was 2-on-1, the president did a terrific job articulating his 47 months of success as president and how he's going to be in the next 4 years. And I was very proud of the president's performance. Well, it's a great point, but I don't think it's the president's people who are saying that he seems senile. It's actually a lot of people in the media and the American people have seen his performance, which has been at times very, very bizarre and almost. No, because the premise is a false one. The reality in our country is that one of the groups that the left keeps bringing up is actually headed by a person of color. And other groups are really sort of stalking horses for the left that doesn't want to talk about it and has to show their prior tax returns.
It's not the law,
That's
they
not
do,
the law.
don't they?
Please don't interrupt me. And they don't always, actually. And so, out of context and in a leaked fashion, are unhelpful to this discussion.
OK, Harmeet Dillon, thank you so much. The whole topic of race was rather a contentious one, with both candidates making scathing attacks at each other.
And they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
I know a lot more about this.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what other people feel like.
Proud Boys, a far-right group often associated with violent protests, to stand back and stand by before pivoting to attack left-wing activists.
Sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what.
There's no doubt about it. The president did not denounce white supremacy, and he hasn't throughout his presidency. His behavior tonight was beyond appalling, and anyone who is proud of that is troubled. That was an embarrassment. His base is diminishing, but he caters to this base, and white supremacists are his base.
He sees America over the next 4 years and what his plans are.
I think Joe Biden sure tried to lay out his vision for America. I do think that Joe Biden talked about protecting healthcare in the future.
On being asked about a COVID vaccine, President Trump accused Joe Biden of turning it into a political issue.
Disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available. Just like
he said it's a possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st.
Easter, this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take...
Even after 4 years, the media, and I'd include us in that, still struggle to deal with President Trump's unique style. I mean, there were things that were wrong. There were misinterpretation of statistics. There were falsehoods throughout that debate. By our count, the vast majority of them came from President Trump. There was and Mr. Biden said very specifically, we have 4% of the world's population and 20% of the world's deaths from coronavirus. We think that's about right. It does. The US is not the worst country in the world. Other countries have done worse, including this country, the United Kingdom. But coronavirus in general is difficult territory for President Trump. His response was essentially just to say whatever it was to do with the virus, it would have been worse if he was in charge, which Mr. Trump said this was the greatest period of economic growth ever. That simply isn't the case. There have been other periods in the 1950s and elsewhere when the economy was growing much faster than it did under Mr. Trump.